Um, do y'all? Let me ask y'all a question before we get started. Do you think that the black community is ran by the matriarchy? That's a question for everybody. Do you think the black community in itself, black community as a whole, is ran by the matriarchy? While y'all figure that out, while we answer for it, let's go ahead and get into it.
Just from a society view, men aren't considered lower than women, period. That's whether they're earning or not earning or whatever. Men are considered to be above women, period. They don't even have to be especially smart or especially successful. They don't have to be especially good looking, but they're considered to be superior to women, period.
Okay. And if you put black women versus black men in like categories, let's say like leadership positions in corporate America, et cetera, do you think that black men are more represented than black women if we were to do like a chat GPT search?
I think black women might be more represented, but there are some catalysts as to why, right? I think that it's very much systematic and
black women are more represented in the educational system. They're not more represented when it comes to leadership. When it comes to leadership, they aren't. As a whole, as a collective, black men and black women, they are underrepresented by 4 to 6%. By 4 to 6% when it comes to leader being in leadership roles.
Has a lot to do with the breakdown of our community, right? So kind of like what's already been sort of alluded to. You elevate the woman above the man, how can the community survive? And that's a societal view, right? So that's why the women get the opportunities. But now that doesn't mean we're not working for them, because we are sitting through those classes. We are getting the credentials. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So you are agreeing then that based on the systematic thing that Shad eloquently laid out, Arnold opened up with, and we often say, and most of us generally agree, that we're in a matriarchy in our community.
No, I don't believe that.
Okay, sorry. Mm-hmm. So my statement was most of us generally agree that we're in a matriarchy. That perception wise, are the black women put also over black men systematically or no?
A word?
I guess perception wise, Ham. I guess perception wise, but my thinking is that women are always seen to be beneath men for the reasons that I laid out. We don't even have to, the men don't even have to be especially talented or anything. And the women are seen as second.
Black men?
Right? It's always, yes, men, period. Yeah. So it's men, women, children in that order.
Okay. So you're saying black men specifically don't have to be exceptional to succeed?
They don't have to be exceptional to be seen above women.
Above black women?
Yes.
Even with the systematic things? Okay.
Right.
Saw it? You said no, why? Hey.
So I feel like it's systematic as well. I also feel like...
Hey, Saw, do me a favor. Tell me what you think.
So I think that it is very much systematic. Okay. I also think and feel that it stems from just men always being in this hierarchy. Because when y'all said that we was in a matriarchy, I was kind of confused. Because men still heavily dominate the government and women's rights. When I think about a patriarchy, you said what?
White men, black people, and the black.
We're talking about black. We're talking about in our community.
So in our community, I still think there's a hierarchy. Men has always ruled, and I think honestly because
for black people specifically.
Yes, for black people. Like, it may be hard for y'all to get into those doors, but once y'all are in those doors, if it's a woman and a man, I feel like the man is going to get the hierarchy. And even with 2K point, when he was talking about corporate America, you would see that corporate America is flooded with females. But when you look at the hierarchy as who is running these companies, these are men.
We're saying black. That's why we're at keep. That's what we said. That's what we
I understand. I
reiterated.
said yes.
Okay, so
And
yeah,
I,
but this real quick, the point you just made, right? You went back to white men. That's why 2K was doing this thing. But we're saying in terms of our community, when you look at black men and black women, who's touted, who's pushed. That's why Dr. G and I were conversing about who's more represented in like corporate entities and such. And I think we came upon the agreement that it was black women.
I don't agree. So I feel like at the end of the day, even though the outcomes look unequal, it doesn't always mean it's unfair. So I'm just so confused as to where do y'all get. I'm just confused as to where did y'all get the concept that women were above y'all.
So Shad, well, we're having a conversation. So what Arnold stated, and then Shad laid it out how women are less threatening, so they have closer proximity to white men specifically, and they also had an attraction in the whole 9 yards, right? And when you can separate those men from those women, especially when those men and women are in chains, what does that do to that entire societal structure?
I still don't think that plays into it. So yes, we still have that closer proximity, but like when I look at it, when it comes to getting the job done, regardless of what it is, they're going to go to the man, especially when it comes to leadership or whatever.
Yeah, I think here's what I see is the white men are here, right? You can feel the double minority sentiment that you guys continue to communicate by having a woman and a black woman. Boom. Now you got the token in place, and black and women aren't threatening to men, generally speaking, especially those men that actually benefit from the patriarchy. So why not put her there over another man that you have to actually contend with? You see, so it's what's the word? Strategic, essentially.
Can I go? Oh, who turn is it?
2K.
Okay.
All right. So okay. I forgot. I'm looking for this woman name. All right, but fuck it. They go. So black women, black men, white men. All right, let's put the white man at the top of the hierarchy. Okay, for this example, the black woman gets to get the ear of the white man. With the ear of the white man, more power is granted. So in terms of physicality, the black man might be greater than y'all, but y'all got the ear of the muscle. And when things like that happen, you guys become what I like to call puppeteers. Okay? You guys get to do the white man's work for them, but on the screen. And in return, we'll give you a couple things too. Let's talk about it. The gay agenda. Black women push that shit over the hill. Feminism. Black women push that shit over the hill. The wage gap. Black woman push that shit over the hill. Now, let me show you the plight of when a black man wants something. Let's go to civil rights. Niggas had to die, get hosed by damn fire trucks, get ate by their nuts by dogs, even assassinated. So just by y'all being the white man's puppet, y'all get certain benefits from that. All while, and this is just by norm, because see, they know white women. They know for a fact if white women made more than them or was in these spaces, how the white women would treat them. So they won't let that happen. But we're going to put the black women, we're going to elevate them over the black man to kill two birds with one stone. We're going to kill the black man, and we get to keep the black woman at bay and have them do our dirty work for us. And so when it comes to just breaking it all down, y'all got the ear of the muscle. Y'all, in our community, it is a matriarchy. Because y'all have the ear of the muscle. And that's what I mean by it.
That's
how. Can I rebuttal? Can I get my
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
First of all, the reason why I said no is this. Black women go to school. Black women get educated. So of course they will be overrepresented in certain places because black men do not go to get education. Even though black women are more educated than black men still earn more than us, right? And they still have greater opportunity at success in this country. Why? Because this is a patriarchal country. Without going to school, the jobs that you can earn a lot of money in, all blue collar, hardworking, male dominated fields that takes strength, male strength to actually get done. Electricians, HVAC, etc. Right? So within that, of course, the world is
I'm
they're
talking about
supposed to
hella
be more,
Mississippi,
right?
ain't it?
So this idea
Hella
that
Mississippi.
the system is the reason why black women bust their ass. Black women go to school. Black women do what they need to do to earn the things that they have. Don't nobody like black women. Don't nobody like black women. Nobody's giving black women nothing for free. And I think it's just very disheartening to way that y'all always think that somebody gave something to black women as if black women not busting their ass, studying, going to those schools and doing what they have to do to get in positions that they're getting in. But it's always this puppet this, puppet that. No, it's not. Black women are working their ass off to get in the positions that they get in. They're going to keep on opening the doors, and I support that. That's why they're there. But it don't.
Well, you got to also understand too, though, because I hate this rhetoric of most educated, right? Oh, most educated. What are these? What, matter of fact, instead of me just going off the whim, instead of me shooting from the hip, because we always talk about how a lot of these women are educated. What is the education that they're getting, right? What degrees are these women getting? So, out of these degrees, the majority of women, when we talk about education, right? 20 to 25% are in the health professional industry. That entails nursing, public health, healthcare administration, right? 20 to 25%. 15 to 20% is in business management, which entails management, marketing, HR, general business, right? Now, mind you, when you talk about business management or marketing, HR, these things can be learned outside of a 4-year industry or a 2-year industry. These things can be learned outside of this. YouTube University is a great place to learn how to market your business, or apps, or just starting your own business alone and learning how to operate a business. You can learn business management. You can learn that by starting your own business in itself, and you learn as you go. You build the plane as you go, as you're flying that bitch. So is it really necessary in learning general business, HR? These things, you can learn this outside of that, right? What comes after that is what? Social science, and psychology. That makes up 10 to 15%. Now, mind you, everything that I've mentioned so far, the only thing that actually makes you actual money, that makes you a decent amount of money, is in the health profession. Nursing, public health, healthcare administration, RNs and shit. Even then, I don't even think they go to an actual university in order to become an RN now. And then what comes after psychology is education, like teaching and things like that, like being a teacher and shit like that, right? That makes up 10 to 15%. And then after that comes public administration and human services, which is 5 to 10%. Now, on the lower end, on the lower represented areas, very small percentage, we're talking like 2 to 3%, or 2 to 3% is engineering. And then computer science falls under that, which is 2 to 4%. And then physical science, which is physics, chemistry, is a very small number, which is not even, it's an insignificant number of women that actually goes into physical sciences like physics, chemistry, and things like that. And then skilled trades, almost negligible in degree stats. But here's the thing. In skilled trades, that's where the men dwell. Which then, if you want to talk about education, that puts them at the top, because most men go into trades. So when you have that off balance, it's like, okay, well, women are actually more educated. Are they though? Are they? I mean, because trade is still a school. You still got to learn. You still got to educate, but it's on something specific though. It's specific to a job that they're trying to get. That's the only difference. It's only specific to a job that they're trying to get. So I don't this is why I hate that education. Well, education. I hear you, but that doesn't translate to anything to me, because a lot of y'all are getting degrees in bullshit jobs anyway, y'all getting bullshit degrees anyway, so it's not leading to anything unless you're in the healthcare industry. So yeah, you're working your ass off, but for what? You could have been working your ass off getting into STEM. You could have been working your ass off by getting the trade. But that ain't what you want to do though. Cause you see your homegirls, you see all your thought pocket friends becoming RNs, being travel nurses and all this shit, sitting behind the desk becoming HR in the DEI department. Don't want to hear that. Don't want to hear it. So just because you got a degree, that don't make you necessarily educated. Just means you know how to retain information very well.
It doesn't matter because Black men are still men, but we are in a matriarch. But we're not in a matriarch. We're in a matriarch because Black women have been the backbone of their family. Anything that's taking the man out the home, or anytime the man decided to leave, whatever it was, drugs, feminism, whatever, when the man is gone, the women has to stay and the woman has to do that. So most people have a big mama within that bloodline that holds that family together, that makes sure that family structure is strong. That's why we are matriarchy. So it's more matrilineal because we have a big mama. It's not that all women run it, but majority of it is ran by big mama.
Sherelle,
well, the reason it was ran by Big Mama, because guess what? Pawpaw was out there either working or Pawpaw had already passed. So that's why it was only Big Mama. That's why it was always only Big Mama. Then 9 times out of 10, they still, even having Big Mama, that's why you still have fucked up situations. Go and look at Soul Food again. That shit was toxic, bro. As you get older, you go back and look at it like, hey man, that shit was toxic as fuck. Everything was toxic. That house wasn't together. The only time they so-called were together is when they was at the table eating food. That's it. Everything else, they had shitty lives. You had ex-husbands, you had husbands fucking the cousins, you had women, you had one getting married to a dude who was in jail, couldn't find a job, sister fighting the other sister, mama hiding money in tables and shit, ain't telling nobody where the money was. Man, listen, y'all go back and watch Soul Food again. That shit was toxic as hell. Big Mama wasn't doing. Big Mama ain't keep shit together.
Okay, you might be right there. Nobody like Black women, but this is not a likable position. If that position was so important, do you know who they would put right there if it wasn't detrimental to their community? White women. White women. That's who the positions that y'all got right now. They would give them to white women if they were so illustrious. They are giving y'all these positions to keep Black men down. And
white women are in those positions more than us.
Okay. And the reason why Black men make more in these fields is because we work harder, we work longer. You guys do bust y'all ass, but for 40 hours. I know Black men who easily do 60-hour weeks.
Yeah.
So yes, we make more because we work harder, or we might do something where we get to set the price.
Yep.
Okay.
I just have a question. Can we define flat out patriarchy and matriarchy? Because I think that we are feeling like just because women are now getting treatment or have access to certain rooms or certain services or whatever, that we are in a patriarchy. Like,
We're in a patriarchy.
I mixed it up. I matriarchy.
Because the leader of the Black community is the white man. That's who holds the power of the Black community. That's the uncomfortable conversation that people don't ever want to admit. The power is always going to lead back to the person who holds true power. Like I said, even
but my whole point was saying, but patriarchy doesn't even mean that females are at the top, like, or it's controlling.
Yeah,
so that's why I wanted the definition.
So we can break it all the way down. So that's what Sherelle said is actually 2K's point. So if white men are indeed in charge of the black community, it's a pseudo matriarchy, right? So it'll be angled as though women are in charge, running the houses, the family, the households, right? And white men intentionally give them leverage so that the black men don't rise to the top. That's what 2K saying.
Because they'll empower their own women. If that was the case, do you think white women just sitting back and like, dang, why this black woman got their position? They ain't saying nothing about it because that ain't never how it's gonna be over there.
But we're more educated than them too.
Yeah, I don't disagree with this pseudo patriarchy point.
I think
y'all kids be dumb as hell. Cause why y'all be saying educated? If you was educated, your kids would know something. You got a degree. That's not education. That you just got a great way of obtaining shit that they taught you.
That's the point that's
what I'm saying. So that's the same point that I was making. That's why we got to stop using this. We're the most educated. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. I think Asian women sit at the top of education. So y'all aren't even leading in that. So what are you talking about? No, just because you obtain a degree, that don't necessarily mean that you're educated. I know a lot of men who've never been to college before, and they're extremely educated. Oh, might I add? Matter of fact, let me see something before let me make sure. Before I even say this. Let me see. See something real quick. Want to make sure I get my facts 100%. Okay. So what I was saying, it does not make you educated just because you got a degree. I know people who've never got a degree before and they're extremely educated. So just because you got a degree does not make you educated.
The point that every person without a degree or without higher education makes, that it's just this or it's just that. It just doesn't make any sense. That's a standard that's set. Black women are jumping that standard by mounds, and then we want to come back and say it don't mean anything.
I got a degree. It don't mean nothing.
Your degree don't mean nothing, 2K. Okay.
Shaw, what's up, man?
Oh, I was about to answer that.
Yeah. Nah. 2K was on point with that. No, it don't mean nothing because even then, when you get your degree, a lot of people aren't even working in the field that they got their degree in. A lot of people aren't even working in the field that they got their degree in the first place.
I kind of a lot of, the forced doctrine is important, and I'm saying it because particularly black people now always make comments like we got to do our own as if black people never have. And the forced doctrine will help you understand why without an army, we'll always be vulnerable people within America's structure. Without an army willing to die and having the infrastructure and tools to get the job done, no matter how much we do and build on our own, and just society history will show you we've actually attempted to build on our own a couple of times, dozens of times, and it gets taken every time because we don't have an army. So the forced doctrine is real. 2K's point about like this idea of like leverage again, because if you really get in the weeds, you'll find out these positions you're talking about are support positions. It's still not leadership for the most part, right? There are women in leadership, but for the most part, it's support positions, particularly in what Arnold was talking about, like the corporate structure. So the idea is like they have the white man's ear, and somehow it's giving them leverage. I think what you're speaking to is like all of us falling for the trick bag and how it's negatively influenced both men and women to inward fight versus saying more opportunity is a benefit for all of us, and it should be celebrated by all of us and shouldn't be used as leverage or something that separates us. But that's something on black people in our psychology that we got to fix. Being in this capitalistic society, it does it to everyone. Damn, I wanted to say something about your other point about the babies being dumb and saying y'all. It's just interesting again as men, we keep separating ourselves from the problem about our babies being dumb as if it's not our responsibility to make sure our kids are informed and educated. It doesn't make men seem more powerful when we say stuff like that. It's us admitting that we actually aren't involved in the education of our children which is a problem. I understand maybe historically or traditionally that job was done for women, but women are in the workforce. So hearing men, particularly now, keep kind of championing y'all kids are dumb. Is it just not our kids? Just kind of silly at this point, bro.
I want to 2K. Just remember your retort. I want to add a similar point to the conversation. Then you got the floor. Another thing like that, shot that I was thinking about. I've thought about it before, and Mr. Fantastic and I had talked about it, and it was kind of said today. But the Black women's mortality rate during like birth and etc. Right? It's like, well, y'all too fat. But if they dying, those women are at the very least attached to Black men. Right. So at what point are these problems we problems or her problems? Go ahead, 2K, right. And then Krishana, I know you wanted to say something, right?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, 2K, to respond to what he said, then we get Krishana because she ain't said anything.
I ain't gonna be long. I just wanted to say that I feel like that a lot of women, like, they sacrifice the kids. And that's why I say the kids are dumb, because you got all that education, but you using all that brain power for the white man and not your kids. Yes, it do. The knowledge is not even being passed down. You got people at the school teaching your kids when you could be teaching them shit, and I feel like y'all kind of sacrifice the kids. Krishana.
So can I real quick to Krishana, get this point right? So okay, 2K, let's go with your point, right? But then Black men are only making what, $3,000 or $4,000 more than women. So what are we doing? So where are we spending some of the time where our kids are not being educated? It's not like we were somewhere working, doing, you know what I mean? So what are we doing in the meantime while our kids are not being educated? We have to, I don't know if you have the answer right now, but we have to ask the question. It doesn't serve us at all.
Now, the answer is because they in the workforce, guess who they taking away from? There you go. If the Black women are in the workforce, who are they taking away from? Child?
Yeah. Technically, it'd be the kids.
Yeah.
No. I'm talking about the economics. Because if we can hire Black women and pay them lower than hiring a Black man, who are they taking away from?
Black men and Black women don't even work the same jobs.
And you won't.
Black women do CNA jobs.
Damn, man, I wish y'all would be more cognizant. Krishana is not gonna fight her way in. She's still getting accustomed to this shit. Go ahead, Krishana.
Hey, everybody. So there were a lot of really good things that were said.
Y'all
try to bring it in. I'm gonna touch on a few different things that I heard tonight. And then I'll define the stuff that you asked about Saudi.
But hold on, before Krishana, because I missed something. I hear what Shad is saying. Shad. I hear what Shad is saying, right? But at some point, we can't always implement ourselves, because a lot of times, here's a problem that I have with this. You're taking away the responsibility of the woman. There are more women that are single with a child than there are men that are single with a child. So by that lets you know that there are more women out here. There are less men out here busting all of these chicks open, and they're impregnating them. So we can't sit here and say that, well, it also falls on the we. It's not a we, it's a them. Because the men who are actually taking care of their responsibilities are taking care of their responsibilities as they should. So you can't put that on the we. It's the ones who chose my body, my choice. They decided to have a child by this ain't shit nigga, and they knew that this nigga wasn't shit, and he already said he didn't want to be involved in that child's life, and he left. But she decided to lay down with him. At some point, we got to stop trying to absolve a lot of these women from their responsibilities. Because if that woman then decides to, if she raises a great man, if she raises a LeBron James, guess who gets all the praise? The woman gets all the praise. The mother gets the praise. Oh, you did everything that you had to do. You sacrificed your whole life. You deserve it. Every gets all the praise. But the moment that child is a failure, that child ends up in jail, that child ends up unalive, that child ends up on the pole, that child ends up in the gang, that child ends up flunking out of school, becoming homeless, not being a contributing member to society, all of a sudden is, oh, but where was the father though? No, we're not finna keep doing that, bro. We're not about to keep doing that. We're not about to keep doing that. If you're gonna praise the mom for when she does great with this child, we need to also hold her accountable for when she does a shitty job with the child. We're not, because we aren't gonna give the man any praise for it. We're not gonna say anything. We're not even gonna mention the father when the mother does great with the child. But then all of a sudden we want to bring the man up when the child has failed, when the child is not doing so great in the world. No, we're not doing that. Hold that same motherfucking energy through and through on both sides, not just on one side when shit is downhill. It's crazy.
Someone said something about perception being seen as a reality, and even though perception may not necessarily be true, it can hold a lot of weight. That's one thing. And then I do believe that two things can be true at the same time. In this case, since we're on a panel, there are multiple things that are true that have been said on this panel. Like, for instance, the way I look at things as far as considering someone better, I don't necessarily look at it from gender or ethnicity or nationality. I usually look at that as experience, skill level, or intelligence, who would be considered better. So that's my viewpoint on that. When it comes to in the workplace with Black women or maybe Black men and white men in leadership, I do agree with some of the things that Shad and 2K were saying in regard to, maybe a Black woman wouldn't be acting in a higher position over a Black man, but I also agree with something that Cheryl was saying too. There are a lot of Black women out there who are qualified for certain positions. They may not necessarily all the time get the benefit, but maybe in most cases they might, because as the perception being seen as a reality, even if it's not necessarily true, that might be the reason why it's seen that it's more of a matriarchal type of thing when it comes down to that. And then I want to define
it's basically crazy.
Patriarchy, so that we all know what it means. So patriarchy, a system of society or government in which the father or eldest male is held of equal descent traced through the male line. And then the matriarchy is a system of society or government ruled by a woman or women. So hopefully that made sense what I said, because I spoke to a bunch of different things. I heard a lot of different things on the panel.
That might.
Yeah, so you kind of just told us about what you liked.
That's what I think. That's what I think.
Yeah, but it was a lot of agreeing. So you just spoke on the stuff that you kind of like. Oh, that's a good point. Like what can we put in the conversation that might rub somebody the wrong way so we can get more understanding?
Got it. So
because Christiana, we don't really need these people up here are professionals for the most part. These motherfuckers got self-esteem. They know it's called self, not we esteem. They don't need none of that shit. So we need to push this shit. You see what I mean?
Well, this would be my push. So I heard a lot about more focusing on your gender or your ethnicity or nationality. I don't actually.
Mr. Premium himself, what's good with you, my guy? Right?
Being determined better has to do with their experience, their skill level, and their intelligence. I think that's what determines them in whatever field that they're pursuing.
Boy, her connection is wild.
Okay, so you're saying people's merit. Yeah. Oh, like the Martin Luther King content of the character shit?
Yeah, or just actually having the actual skills, like your intelligence, your experience, your skill, not necessarily having to do with your gender or your, ethnicity or nationality. It has nothing to do with that. I think what determines what's being better is your experience.
She's talking from the intercom,
intelligence in regard to whatever field you're pursuing.
Talking from the principal.
So you think the Asians are just better and the white men are just better?
No, it depends on whoever the person is going for it. So they could be Asian, they could be whatever they are. They could be Black, they could be white. That's with your intelligence, your experience, and your skill level in that field.
Except for when you go up, the further you go up, Black people start to disappear. So you just saying that they're just better than us?
The further up you go, Black people start to disappear. No, I don't think that that's necessarily meaning that they're better.
What does it mean?
I do believe in some cases that there might not be an opportunity presented to them.
Okay, so it's not that they're better, it's just that they had an opportunity.
In some cases, yes. Yes. And this.
Well, what do you think
Not
about
all- not all-
majority or
not
Not
minority?
all cases, not all cases though, because there are cases where we do got the opportunity. And today, in today's society, we got more than great opportunity to do the things that we need to do. A lot of people just aren't doing it. So at some point, we can't just continue to keep looking at what opportunities we don't have. We got to look at more so of, okay, are we taking advantage of the opportunities that has been given to us?
Cases.
I'm
You
sorry,
think
go
like
ahead.
the majority or minority of cases that how did they get there? Why are they there?
It might be more a majority where they don't have the opportunity. Yes.
Why? But the why is important because if skin color didn't matter, then it wouldn't be as prevalent. So where does nepotism lie?
Well, I'm not saying that skin color doesn't matter. I told you what I believe, what makes a person better. So skin color will have a play in it. In some cases, yes. So if you're asking me the majority, yes, I do believe that your skin color can have an effect, the majority as to how high up you go. I do believe that, yes, maybe, and I'm not really trying to go there with the race thing, but I will, yes, I do believe that there's a possibility that white women might feel more comfortable with black women being in a higher position versus hiring a black man to be in a certain position. Yes.
Why you weaken your statement with might? Like what you think? You think that they do see it that way?
I don't know the number statistics. I don't actually have the facts on that, so I don't want to miss.
Okay.
That's why I said might.
Okay. Yeah, I think that is emphatically true. See, everybody, when you're dealing with other men, eventually everybody want to be the man.
So basically, nepotism is when, let's say I have a kid. It's basically what LeBron James did with Bronny James, right? They're basically saying because of my name and who I am as this star athlete or as this ultimate athlete, I'm able to open doors for you just based off of my name, just based off of who I am. That's basically what it is.
Right? So eventually something got to get. Men understand that. Oftentimes women do, contrary to popular belief, follow the instructions once they are comfortable in that space well and consistently. That's why you see the women up at the jail for 10 years. And she knows she can't go on Thursday because the other girl go on Thursday. She got to go on Saturday. So, okay. Now, good job. I had to push it a little bit just to see.
That's good. I can take it.
No, you did good.
Perfect.
You did good. I like it.
I mean, so I get it. I get it. But at some point, we gotta stop. We gotta stop looking and blaming everybody else, bro. And we put it like this. I'm gonna make this very clear. We aren't high enough to be worrying about what white person is holding us back, because we got to get to the fucking starting line first in order to get to that place where we can start growing and leveling the fuck up. We can't worry about them people that's way up at the fucking top. They ain't studying shit that we got going on out here. They aren't studying anything that we got going on down here. So we need to focus on getting ourselves up to that point. And then we can start having a conversation. Because what I don't hear is the motherfuckers who are at the top already that are black, they aren't having these conversations. They aren't talking about what white men are holding them back or the Asian men. They aren't having these conversations. What they're doing, they are leveraging, they're building relationships, they're connecting, they're networking, they're investing in businesses together, because it's all about the money at the end of the day. At some point, we got to stop worrying about the race aspect of it and start worrying about the class. It's like, fuck the race part. Listen, I'm trying to get to this class. This is the class that I'm trying to be in. And now you just got to focus on how to get to that class. Fuck the race shit. That shit is long gone. That shit is dead, bro. Cool, yeah, there's still some racist people out there. There's still some white people who don't care about black people who don't care about white people, so on and so forth. Fuck all that. But this ain't what this is. This is about class. This is a class war, not a race war. And we continue to keep having these conversations about what the white man is doing, what the white man, all this extra shit. Nah, fuck all that. Class war. What we doing? We having too many conversations about race, dog. We having too many conversations about race. Fuck the race shit. That shit's long gone. That shit's old. That shit's over and done with. Call it a spade a spade. So, but hey, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for the algorithm, and make sure you hit the bell notification.